My name's Mark, and you're listening to Headstraight. Hello, you lot, and welcome back. In this episode, we're going to be reviewing everything that we did in Season 4, because sometimes it's worth taking a moment to just sit where you are. Not to analyse anything, not to fix anything, just to notice. This season has been about what change actually looks like after it starts. Not the decision to change, not the big push at the beginning, but the quieter middle bit. The part that people don't usually talk about. Now, one of the first things that often shows up when you start doing things differently is other people noticing. Sometimes they say it out loud, and sometimes they don't. And that can feel awkward. It can affect how close things feel. It can leave you wondering whether you've done something wrong, even when you haven't. This season has been about understanding that part, that not all discomfort means failure, and not all distance means that you're on the wrong track. Sometimes it just means that things are adjusting. And after that initial shift, things often go quiet in a different way. Not dramatic, not obviously bad, just, different. Connections change shape. You might feel a bit more separate. You might miss how things used to be without wanting to go back there. That strange mix can be confusing. This season held space for that, without rushing it and without pretending that it doesn't matter, because it does. Another part of change people rarely expect is that setbacks can feel worse after you've made progress. A small slip can suddenly feel like proof that nothing has really changed. This season has been about slowing that moment down, seeing a setback as a moment, not a verdict. Because slipping doesn't cancel out progress. It only feels that way when you let the story run too fast. As time goes on, change can become harder to spot. Not because it's stopped, but because it's working quietly. Reactions don't last as long. Things don't spiral the same way. You move on without needing to think about it so much. That kind of progress doesn't look impressive, but it's often the most solid kind. This season has been about learning how to notice that without needing constant proof. For a lot of people, there comes a point when working on yourself starts to feel exhausting. Not because you don't care, but because you've been paying attention for a long time. This season has been clear about something important. Feeling tired of trying doesn't mean that you should give up. Sometimes it just means that what you've learned is ready to carry itself a bit more. And finally, this season has been about what happens when growth stops being the main focus. When life gets busy again, when you stop checking everything, when change becomes something you use, not something you manage. That isn't losing progress. That's integration. That's growth becoming part of how you live instead of something that you have to keep thinking about. Now, if you recognise yourself in any part of this, even a small part, you don't need to do anything with it. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to remember every idea. You don't need to promise yourself change. If something mattered, then it's going to stay with you. And if things wobble again one day, you already know more than you think. You don't need to stay here because you're allowed to move on. This season wasn't about arriving somewhere. It was about understanding the middle. And for now, that's enough. So I'm really glad that you've made your way all the way through Season 4. And I hope that you're going to come and join me for Season 5. I'll tell you a little bit more about that soon. So, are you up for it? Of course you are.